remember of my knee has started clicking, and I think I need to get it looked at as soon as I can. So I think it's getting worse. So the walking sort of has stopped. We've been just doing small walks and things like that, but yeah, so that's killed things a little bit. But as far as looking at what I'm eating and portions and things like that, I definitely think about that each time for meals and things. So that side of it's going not too bad. It's just just a bit sore and going through the motions of getting it cleaned or my knee or whatever. I think it's mechanics knees kneeling on concrete for years and years, and it used to just be like a seasonal type thing, but it's just it's not getting any better. So
disappointed for you, because just when
frustrating.
That's exactly right. It's exactly the word for it, frustrating, because that's what happens. We suddenly change, and our habits become a little bit different, and our body isn't what it used to be 20 years ago. Your body would have loved a 4K walk every day of the week, when we were 20, 25, but it's a bit different now. But definitely getting it looked at and getting it, getting some advice around it, because it might just be that it requires some strengthening exercises, or it might be quite a simplistic, just a change. They might just say, but keep doing your walking, but also do some strength training, or keep doing, just to try and balance it out a little bit. But you don't want to have a sore knee for the rest of your life, because it's become so debilitating. And you, just like you said, you need your knees.
Still been walking the dogs and things like that, but not doing what I want to do and what I have been doing. So
that's right, exactly. So have you seen, as your sort of intensity of the walking has sort of declined slightly, have you seen an alteration in your weight, or have things sort of remained?
I think so. I haven't been weighing myself.
No.
Haven't really wanted to.
No.
But, I can definitely feel I've gone backwards a little bit. Like we've been away for a month as well, so
yes.
Visiting family and things. So as far as eating, and that hasn't obviously been as good over the holidays. But I'll get back on track. And
exactly.
It's definitely always on your mind what we've learnt in this as far as the portion control and things like that. So still a conscious thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I loved when you said that I still think about the foods that I'm about to eat, so you're still sort of mindful about not just tearing into the first thing that you can find, actually being consciously thoughtful about, what food choices you should be making. So I think there's nothing but positivity in what you've just said, in terms of I can feel that you're feeling upset, and not upset, but frustrated, just as like you said, and a bit disappointed that you're not able to do what you want to do. But perhaps all it is a matter of just pivoting slightly. Perhaps it's a matter of looking at what are some other exercises. Is it bike riding? Is it some swimming? Yeah, exactly. Something that's still going to allow you to actually keep your exercise up, but it's not quite so pounding on your knees. Are you runners okay? Because sometimes if you've got really old runners, they might be not so supportive. Or
no, I'll lashed out on some of those Hoka ones with the
did you?
Big soles on them, and they're really good.
They're flash.
Yeah, but that was a while ago, and they've been good. But I don't know. It might have been the Yuyangs coming. It's all right going uphill, but downhill's next level. It's a bit harder on the
100%.
knees and ankles and stuff. So.
Absolutely. And it's so jarring, that downhill walking, because it really, absolutely. So perhaps there has been something that you've done. Can you just walk flat ground instead? Like, is it less painful?
Yeah, it's not so much pain. It's just like clicking, you can feel it.
It's not quite right.
Yep, something's not right. So
good. Okay, well, do not force it. But yes, perhaps looking at some other types of exercises instead as well, even just some strength training or some something different, just so you can almost get out of your head a little bit. Because when we're not, I feel exactly the same. When I'm not exercising regularly, all it takes is one session for me to get back into a better headspace. It's not, you sort of talk yourself almost into this really sort of flat sort of, I'm not doing what I want to do and I can't do that because of this. But when you are able to do something, it totally changes your mindset, and then you can feel positive about things again. But that's excellent. I'm disappointed about your knee, but there's going to be lots of other things that you can do. But obviously getting some assistance on that's going to be super important. So I look forward to hearing about how good your knee is in August, okay? After you go to rehab. Thanks, Simon. Miss Anne, I can see you there. You're next in my screens.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
That's good.
I can't believe how time has flown actually since the last time.
I know, really fast.
This video. I have to say, overall, things have been really positive. I did have a checkup with my doctor 2 weeks ago and had a blood test, and it was really positive, which was great. And she said come back in 6 months. So I mean, I'm not going to delve into all the details, but I think she's more about preventative. Like, she doesn't want to see things head in the wrong direction. And I think the problem with pre-diabetes is putting all the factors in, like genetics and all of that, and lifestyle and whatever. It's so easy to miss things until they're picked up. And I think it's all about collaboration. So being on here, having fabulous, and she's, a care plan. So there's been a couple of other people involved who have made really good suggestions, like a exercise physiologist, and he did kind of one of those scans, and what came up is about, keeping hydrated throughout the day. I know it's small things like that my kidney has improved, and he made some recommendations for me to incorporate something in my drink for some electrolytes, because I tend to go, and then I only stop when I'm really hungry or I'm thirsty and it's already too late. So I think it's all part of my plan to just put time aside and focus. And the other thing that I've worked on is, I think there can be factors outside of just eating. Like, for example, you're in a work situation, and if you're kind of not in a positive environment and it's quite hard. So I have changed a few things around that, and I think that has made a significant difference, because life has changed quite a lot, and I'm a lot more active, and so I'm able to take proper meal breaks, have a drink, think about what I'm going to eat. It's not just kind of snatching food on the run and being surrounded by foods that aren't terribly healthy. And I think one of the things was about the planned lapses, because I knew Christmas was coming up. So I did plan for Christmas Day, and I hadn't had any drink. I hadn't really missed having a glass of wine. I don't drink a lot anyway. But I had one glass of champagne, I think, on Christmas Day. And that was fine. I was happy with that. That was enough. Just special. But, I kind of planned for that, and then planned that there might be some things that I might be kind of like things that were extras that I wouldn't normally eat. So I couldn't say. And then, so I've been, exercising, doing some things at home, walking, but also being really active in kind of also getting jobs done. Like today I've been painting decking, keeping busy, keeping active. So I think overall, I'm sure there's room for improvement in some areas, but on the whole, I'm doing the best I can.
And it sounds like an amazing effort that you're doing. I mean, that's all. I love that. I love that you planned laps. It's so important. I mean, that's just Christmas. That's basically December and January for all of us. It's such a social, busy time, and we're on holidays for some of it, but planning those lapses and not letting it overwhelm us, and then being able to jump back up on that horse again as soon as we sort of feel ready to. That's all it takes, that's all it takes. So I think that's fantastic that you were able to do that. And when you feel good, you've got more energy to be doing lots of things. So that's right. You're feeling good. So you're painting and you're doing the jobs and you're doing all those things. When you're not fueling your body well or hydrating it very well, you don't get much output from it. So that's great that you're feeling, so good, Anne. I'm thrilled for you.
Sleep's improved as well. I think that's a big factor for me. I'm someone that really needs my sleep. And so I have noticed that I think doing exercise, even though sometimes, you might be tired and it's late and whatever, even just a little walk does help to sleep better, which in turn makes me feel better.
100%, 100%. Yeah. There's no one on earth who actually wants to exercise every single time they exercise. And if they say they do, they're lying. It's not always like that. But just like you said, Anne, you will, every single time you exercise, you will always feel better. Unless you're Simon and your knee's really playing up, then you might not feel better. But normally, as soon as you've exercised, you always think, yes, I'm so glad I did that. So, but you may not always feel like it. But gee, if you're sleeping better because of it, that's a fantastic result.
Yeah, so overall it's been good. But as I say, I think it's a little bit of the puzzle and all the parts fitting together.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. You've said it beautifully. I get lots of questions from clients saying things like, should I just cut out gluten or should I just stop eating, something? But what they're not understanding is, just like you've said, Anne, it's way more than that. It's not just about if you're eating gluten or you're not eating gluten. It's everything. It's this whole sort of holistic view about things. So it takes time to get all that in its right spot. But once you do, then the momentum starts to really kick in. So we tend to focus on this, the drill down to these minute things about, is it gluten? But, most of the time it's not. It's all the other bits of the puzzle. So well done, Anne. That's fantastic. I'm thrilled for you.
Thank you. And I did actually, when I went away at Christmas, I took my own cereal because I took what I liked, because I think one of the things I've found is that, I've got a friend who, she's lovely, but she likes to keep the food on my plate, and I'm like, no, it's okay. I can serve myself. So I don't want to be rude, but it's like there are some people who, bless them, they want to do the right thing. But
of course.
They're not doing the right thing, and it's like, no, I don't. No, I'm not drinking, and I think it's finding that balance between, you're not going to derail me, and I'm not going to be rude, but this is where I'm at, and so I think that's been a part as well, saying, like, no, I don't want, or I'll put my serving on the plate, thanks very much, but I can do that, but doing it in a nice.
Of course. I think, because generally speaking, those kind of friends, it's more about how they're feeling.
Yeah.
It's not about what she's wanting to do for you. It's more about how she's feeling about herself. So her actions are speaking much more louder about her than they would ever about you. So, yes, I think being firm but fair is always the best way to play that, because she will eventually, hopefully, go on her own, journey and find out her own. But that's excellent. That's wonderful. You've obviously done a lot of deep thinking about things, Anne. I'm thrilled for you. So hopefully then you can do your blood test results before we catch up again in August, because I'd love to see whether they've shifted again or where they are. So that'd be great.
Yeah, I was really happy. Like basically, it was good liver, and also my immunity was a bit low, and that's improved significantly. So. Yeah, so it was good. I was
good feeling. Yeah. Well, if there's ever a good time to have improved immunity, it's when we're in the middle of a pandemic. So that's fantastic. Good for you, Anne. Excellent. Thanks so much for sharing all of that. That's wonderful. Miss Emily Thorpe, I can see you there.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you.
That's good. Emily and I are not related. It's just really weird that we've got exactly the same spelling and no E on the end of our Thorpe, even though everyone wants to put an E on it.
Yes, very unusual.
I know. Go for it, Em. How have you been going?
So, okay. not great, but okay. I suppose there's lots of areas that I can improve upon.
Yeah,
But
sure.
when I'm able to, I've been going to a lot of effort to drink water.
Awesome, that's
Picking,
great.
if I can, no sugar soft drinks as opposed to the sugar ones, just to try to train myself out of it.
Yeah, great. That's a great choice.
Yeah, so just I suppose having a little bit of commitment to that. And just exercise has been a bit hard, but I do about 10,000 steps a day, just taking children back and forth to the car park at my childcare centre. So
excellent.
so that's a big effort and takes up a lot of our day. So
I'll bet, of course. Goodness me. Fantastic. That's great. So you've been really trying to hit that 10,000 target. Have you been able to do any sort of extra walk on the weekend or anything? Like on top of the work.
Yeah.
I know you're right. Have you been able to do any sort of extra exercise outside of those work hours, or it's just?
I am trying to go for walks on the weekends. So I have a dog, so he pushes me out the door most weekends. I have been in a little bit of lockdown over some weeks over summer, so it hasn't been great. But
it's hard.
But so got my dad out there like last weekend and had him walking with me. So.
Good, that's great.
That
always nice to have some company. Yeah, good on you. So what will the next so when we meet up again in August, what will things be like for you by then? Like in terms of what would you sort of like to continue to work on, I suppose? The water's great, the no sugar soft drinks excellent.
Yeah. Definitely higher fiber foods. And so I moving into a new house in May.
Oh, cool.
And hoping that will change a bit of lifestyle and things as well. So at the moment I eat at my parents' place every night.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And so changing that up a little bit and being able to cook my own food and have healthier choices for lunch and things will hopefully change in that regard. So hoping that. And just those higher fiber. So to talk my parents into not using white rice is really hard, and not cooking pasta and those kind of things. So and potatoes.
Yes, absolutely. Of course. And I'm sure, and it's a fine line, because I mean you're so grateful, it's nice to be able to just walk in the house and your mum and dad have done dinner for you. But sometimes it's nice to also have a little bit of artistic license on the things that you're eating. So great. Oh, well, that's good then. So May will be quite a change for you.
Yes. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. But just like you've pointed out, increasing those fibrous foods, having something like that for brekkie, your Weet-Bix, your muesli, your porridge, something like that. And then getting all those colours in, all the fruit and veggies and all those things in. So yes, absolutely. Well, that sounds like a great plan, Em. So I look forward to seeing how you've been going as a person living by themselves and cooking, and it'll be a total new change for you. Hopefully you don't just come on and say, I've just been having takeaway every night because it's too hard to cook for myself.
Menu log.
Exactly. Good on you, Em. Thanks so much for coming. It's nice to see you.
Thanks.
Marek, you are up next.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Well, I was very stressed about this meeting.
Why?
I have to give account of all the misdeeds and so on. But
I love a misdeed, Marek, so hit me with them.
So overall good. Yeah, I did my blood test results a few days ago. So I'd say they're better than ever. Yeah, they're pretty much all in spec. Kind of borderline, close to, but in spec. So that's a good trend.
Wonderful.
Probably the best I've had for the last 4 years. Yeah.
Great.
Looking
That's
at the record.
Yeah.
That's true. So I think things are working for me. Yeah. And I'm trying to stick to the diet, but I think portion control is probably the biggest challenge. because I started eating the foods that I never ate before. I was, and I liked them. Like, I started eating pasta and started eating bread again, and that's unfortunately, it's a bit of a challenge for me to keep the portions down, but I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Still sticking to alcohol-free. So alcohol-free beer, alcohol-free wine, and alcohol-free water, and decaffeinated coffee most of the time. Yeah, and I've been kind of crazy with the amount of exercise. That's probably that's one of the frustration that I have. That with the amount of exercise, I would have thought I will lose some weight, but it's not really coming. I think I might be losing fat. I think I'm losing the waist circumference, but not so much weight. Yeah. So, but anyway, I mean, all up, I probably I lost maybe 4 kilos since we last spoke. But
that's a lot of weight, though, Marek. That's a lot of weight.
But I would have thought that for the amount of work I'm doing on it, I should have done better. But anyway, I keep
What
going.
would you have been happy with, though? How much? Like, what were you sort of wanting?
Oh, I thought that at least maybe 5 or more. Yeah, but yeah. So anyway, I haven't done. You can't do everything. I would have loved to do walking, but instead I went a bit in higher intensity, so gym and weights and swimming in the pool.
Yeah.
And that trying to exercise a bit more of the core muscles and building up a bit the amount of weight that I'm pulling or pushing or lifting, and it works, but I don't sleep very well. Yeah, because I'm all in pain. Yeah, massive pain. So I'm probably
lifting too many weights.
But I try to run ahead now. Running I couldn't do because looks like my Achilles tendons are not really taking it. Plus, but anyway, can't do everything. We'll see.
No, you can't, and you're doing a lot already.
I'm doing a lot. I'm doing a lot. I'm actually, sometimes. I mean, that's ridiculous. But some weeks I've done six days in a gym, right? Like 6 visits to the center, right? Gym and swim.
Yeah.
Perhaps alternating. So I think on some occasions I've done 6 gym sessions. Yeah. And three swims. So I would have thought, okay, well, that should have got my weight down, but maybe I'm compensating with eating more. So that's
because you'd be starving. That's right. You'd be so hungry. But let me come back to that though. Are you still addicted to fiber? That's what we all want to know about.
I'm addicted to fiber big time.
I'm so pleased. That's wonderful. I'm thrilled that you're still addicted to fiber. But let's just go back a couple of steps. I want to comment on a couple of things. I'm going to get you all to say this in your own head, but we do not need to fear potatoes or pasta or rice. Okay. They're carbohydrates. We need carbohydrates, particularly when we're doing this much exercise. Carbohydrates are nothing but energy. Okay. So of course there are better choices of carbohydrates. So we're talking, if we were looking at rices and potatoes and pastas and things, we're getting other nutritional quality from those carbohydrates. If we're looking at the carbohydrates in soft drinks or in sugary lollies and that type of thing, we're getting no benefit from that. It is simply just a big load of energy which our body has to do something about. Okay, and generally if we're not exercising enough, it'll store that because it can't burn it up. But foods that are full of carbohydrates, in those sense, we're getting a lot from them, so we can't fear them. But if we are eating too much of them, but if we're eating too much of anything, we will gain weight. So it's not always just the carbohydrates' fault. It's simply that we are eating too much food in general, okay? But we tend to sort of like to drill down on the carbohydrates because we've sort of been given this constant mantra about how bad carbs are, that those are the problem foods. But Marek, if you're doing as much exercise as you're doing, which I do think is too much, but I know that you're a passionate, enthusiastic person. So I know that when you do things, you do them bull at a gate style. But when you are exercising that much, you do need carbohydrates because you need to refuel your body to be able to go to the gym 6 days a week. So yes, you might find that you're overdoing it in the gym, and perhaps even having a couple of rest days your body would benefit from, rather than,
I'm figuring that out. But anyway, that's but on a positive note, they do the body composition as well. So the weight loss actually comes all from fat. No, it's not
Right.
loss of muscles or anything. So I think I'm probably not losing weight because I've actually built up muscles versus losing fat. So the overall balance doesn't go fast, but I think it's hopefully more sustainable.
Yeah, exactly. That's absolutely right. And remembering too is that the sort of the signs of good health are not only shown on scales. So again, it's this whole idea around the idea of we are only succeeding when we're losing weight, but it's not always the case. You guys are all succeeding because simply from the changes that you're making, whether they're subconscious or not, these are all real positive changes to your lifestyle. And I guarantee you that these will get you a whole lot further in life than if you were to turn around and do a Weight Watchers for 6 weeks and drop 25 kilos. But then at the end of that, you haven't learned anything and all that weight just goes back on. So yes, you achieved your goal in terms of weight loss, but you haven't learned a damn thing. So it will not make any difference in the long run. What you guys are doing now is cementing positive, educated changes, which are going to last you for a very, very long time. But Marek, I don't want you to end up injured. I don't want you to end up into the point where you've just drilled yourself into the ground. But if you and your personal trainer or the gym instructors are happy with what you're doing, then I'm happy too. But please eat carbohydrates. I don't want you to be scared of carbohydrates as such.
Tell you what, they have discovered wholemeal pasta and it's delicious.
Say no more. And what is it full of? Fiber. So that's fantastic. I do agree though. Everyone else curls their nose up at wholemeal pasta, but I do really quite like it. So if you haven't tried it, you could always do a mix of white pasta and wholemeal pasta, just whilst you are sort of weaning yourself off to it. But it is so full of fiber. It is a fantastic choice.
The white pasta is just tasteless. You try wholemeal spaghetti. Oh, there is the macro organic brand you can buy it at Woolworths, sometimes on special for next to nothing, $2 or less. It's delicious.
You are a cheap date, Marek. That's what I like to hear.
But that's the problem. When something is delicious, it's difficult to portion control.
Yeah, but that's okay. You have made the best choice that you could make when it comes to the pasta aisle. So you're already doing your bit. So that's excellent. I hope everyone goes and tries the macro now that you've suggested it. Marek, thank you so much. I always love hearing your stories. Miss Kate, how are you?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm good. Good.
That's good.
I've started back at work
2
days a week.
Is that good?
Yeah, it's been good. I'm a teacher, so that's been interesting, taking a year off like last year and then coming back and finding out what's been happening. That's been interesting. But
I bet.
I'd say there's less, I have to really think about what I take to eat at work. There's less time in the day because there's more supervision and more breakout spaces and separation of year levels and things like that. So it's kind of get to work and the day just kind of appears. We've had probably a few planned lapses. We had Clover's birthday on the weekend, and my partner and I got married. So
on the weekend.
Yeah, we just had a
congratulations.
Thanks. We had like a surprise wedding, and we had a lot of cake, which we still have left over. But it's one of those things like neither of us really eat it a lot anymore. We used to really enjoy it, but we really enjoyed it on the weekend. So
I bet you did.
anyhow.
So now can you have it in the fridge and not be distracted by it? Is that what you say? Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah. Even I found like I don't know, we used to just, want to eat, like we've got chocolate sitting over there left over from the party, and that used to be something that I'd be like, oh, they're sitting there, I'm going to eat them. And we gave them to Clover's childcare.
Oh, perfect. Dealt with those, they're done with. Yeah.
Because I suppose, I don't know, we've worked pretty hard at being pretty selective at what we eat. But I've been to see a specialist, like an endocrinologist, just to chase up some of the results. I think I shared them with you.
Yeah.
So that's been good. Like my blood work's getting better, but it's still not. But it might just be how I am.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. But that's right.
Yeah.
That still gives you something to work towards.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else. I've been going to yoga more regularly.
Yeah.
Which has been great. Like it's really nice to have, because I was doing a lot of exercise here or walking with Clover. So it's actually nice having space or something that's like mine or that I go to. Yeah. So I think I missed having something like that. And I generally just do that once a week. But that's been really good.
Yeah, nice bit of strength training in there as well. So tell me, what's different? Like, why is there not that same urge anymore to be so drawn towards those, the chocolates or the wedding cake? Like, what's different now? Is it just not feel worth it? What's the sort of...
I feel like I've noticed how it makes me feel afterwards.
Yeah.
And that when I eat, I suppose it's like what Marek was saying, like when I eat, we don't eat pasta. We eat pasta, but we eat pulse pasta.
Yeah.
Like I made those changes in pregnancy, and it was just such an easy thing. And we learnt that we really enjoyed that. Like things like Israeli couscous, like the big bell couscous.
Yum.
I love that so much. Like I love that. So we'll eat something like that, which is low GI.
Yeah.
I feel good after it. Like if I have cake, which I really enjoyed it, but I don't feel, I don't know, you don't feel like, I'm trying to think what it is. It's just not as, it's like it's not filling or, I don't feel like I've had, it's not like I've had a well-rounded sort of meal.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. It's not that real satisfying finish to a meal. It's just sort of like I've had it and that was fine. Yeah, so that's interesting, isn't it? Because I think that's what happens over time, is that people start to learn that their old normal, whilst it felt okay at the time, when they start to sort of tweak things ever so slightly, this new normal starts to sort of evolve, and the new normal actually feels pretty good. And so suddenly you've had more exposure to how other things feel. And I think just like what you're saying, Kate, your sort of eyes are wider. You think, hang on a minute, actually, I used to eat 3.5 buckets of white pasta and thought I felt okay. But now when I have this other version, when I have something and I'm a bit more understanding of what my portions are, suddenly things start to feel a little bit more, you're much more in tune with how you're feeling, what your body's doing, all these things sort of, fall into place. And suddenly decisions are a lot easier because you know what's to come if you were to go down path A or path B, I suppose, as such. But that only comes with time, and with experience of you sort of trying to work that out yourself. So that's fantastic. I mean, I sort of just want to talk about your wedding now for the rest of the session, but I'm so thrilled that you've been able to sort of come all the way down that and feel good and be having sort of some positive results in terms of your endo work as well. So that's fantastic.
And I've lost weight. I think I said that in the email. Like, I've lost quite a bit of weight since having Clover.
Yeah.
And even when there's been weeks where I haven't been able to exercise as much, or maybe, you know, we've been out for a meal, like, it hasn't really changed it. So it almost feels like that's kind of the new normal for me as well.
Yeah, that's right.
So, yeah, that feels good too.
Yep, absolutely. And so even if you go off and say you are able to fall pregnant again, or you go off and you have a 3-week holiday where it all just goes up in the air, you will know how to bring yourself back to this set point again now, you know, because you now know what feels good and what this new normal feels like and what it is as such. So you can feel confident that no matter what comes at you, you will still be able to come back to this set point again. So that's fantastic. Tell me though, was everyone shocked? Or were there some people that knew there was going to be a surprise wedding?
My best friend knew, like, because so we kind of have been isolating before the party. So Clover started childcare. She had orientation, came home with a cold. I was going back to work, so that's like working in a school, can't avoid
Take
it.
anything, yeah.
So Ben took last week off. It was my first week at work, so I couldn't really take that off. And yeah, we kind of just like laid low. So my best friend knew, because she knew that I was getting really stressed about keeping us all healthy.
Yeah.
We ended up having to tell, so Ben's family's in Perth, they were meant to fly over, but then they kept the borders shut. So that was disappointing. So we told them and set up a Zoom. But generally, yeah, everyone was really, they thought they were there for a first birthday. We were convinced people knew. Well, they were there for a first birthday, but
yeah.
It was nice. It was a really nice surprise.
Oh, I love surprises. I would have loved to have come to that party. I would have gone right off if I'd seen that. That's so exciting. Good on you. Well, that's fantastic. That's a great summary. Thanks so much, Kate, and good on you for all your hard work. Finally, Miss Daniela, if you're there and can hear me.
Hi, Katie.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
It's
really nice to hear everyone's positive stories. I did miss the first one though, so apologies for that.
No, you're fine. Tell me about how you've been going, positive or not.
Well, mine hasn't been as positive as most of everyone else.
That's okay.
I worked through Christmas, so it was, I know it was supposed to be calm, but it was really busy and stressful. But I even stopped having my breakfast and just kept logging on and doing work, and wasn't even having my coffees half the time. So I was wondering why I was crashing halfway through the day.
Yay, starving, yeah.
Coffee as well. Like the coffee really does help with keeping you awake. It's also been really, really, really hot, and I don't have air conditioning in the house, so it's been really hard to cool the house down. I was constantly sweating, didn't even want to eat because it was just too hot to eat. Was drinking a lot of water, but it was a bit of a nightmare. But I have senior dogs, and they need to get haircuts every couple of months. And with the heat, 2 of them got really, really sick. So I ended up in hospital with the 2 dogs, and they got their haircut 2 weeks ago, so they're very happy now. But
that's good.
Still on medication and cooked food at the moment, because they ended up with really bad stomach problems. So I have to cook chicken, zucchini, and pumpkin for them. So
are you cooking that for yourself as well, though? It sounds delicious.
So I kind of wasn't even like, I didn't even have the energy to cook for myself. I just was having like a piece of toast or something and like going to bed, because I'm not sure if any of you have dogs, but when the first one got sick, I was up every half an hour with him at nighttime, and
that's hard.
was spent cleaning, and then he'd go to sleep finally, and as soon as I would go to sleep, he'd be up again, and needing to go to the toilet or something. And
Yeah. So it's been a lot. Yeah. So tell me though, what about the focus on you? I know that you're so dedicated to your dogs and it's such a wonderful part of who you are, but I want to know what you're doing to look after yourself.
Well, I wasn't looking after myself, so
yeah.
it was also work. Work was way more busy than I thought. And I also got really sick with asthma because I had all the fans going in the house, so I just had no energy for myself. I think it's only been like a week since I really started to have breakfast again.
I'm glad you are though. That's great.
That was something I wanted to keep going again. But the other thing I have noticed that I started doing, not that we go out often, but when I have gone out with a friend for coffee or like brunch or something, I'm from Chile, so while most families, you know, told, you know, you need to finish all your food. And so I used to be the type of person that would finish the food until I was sick. Like I would feel sick from finishing it. So now I started noticing that I will actually stop eating when I'm feeling like pretty, like already not
fantastic,
like starting to feel full. So those are the two things that I've kept going, at least, is the breakfast and not overeating when I go out, not feeling guilty for leaving food behind.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a huge thing. Yeah, fantastic. That's a really hard, so much of the way we are as adults, it stems from our childhood, so much. And a lot of that particularly with food and things. So that's fantastic if you can feel like you can tap into, how's my stomach feeling? Do I really need to finish all this food or can I leave some? So that's fantastic, Daniela. That's a really good lesson to be putting into action.
Thanks. Yeah, I even go as far as like they'll put 2 pieces of bread or something on the plate, and I'll even ask, you know, make sure that they only put like 1 piece of bread, because I'll feel bad. I'll be like, that's wasting food. But asking to amend my order, I don't care if I pay the same. I'm just put less on my plate, please.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So tell me then, because do you know what you get told when you're a mum to human babies, but it's exactly the same thing for dog mums, is that if you're not looking after yourself, you are absolutely no good to anybody else, no good to your baby, no good to your dogs. So I would love for you in the next sort of 6 months to put as much care and devotion into yourself as you do into your animals, because you're a wonderful dog mum. No one would ever deny that. But I think too, you need to be looking at focusing on how you can be doing positive things for you as well. You need to be eating that chicken and zucchini and pumpkin. It sounds delicious. If you're doing it for them, my goodness, do it for yourself.
Well, on Monday I did have a bit of extra pumpkin, zucchini, carrots, and some chicken. So I was like, oh, I'll put the veggies in the oven or something.
Oh, like this. Yeah, that's right. Exactly. That's right.
Oh, this was easy because my other issue is mess in the house as well. Like with all the animals, I'm constantly cleaning. So when I cook, I feel like it gets too messy. I'm constantly washing. As soon as I'm done with something, I will wash it. So that day I was like, well, everything's messy already. I might as well continue and make myself something. So yeah, I actually did have some of that the other day, and I got some lettuce and tomato, and I think it was cucumber the other day as well, and said, oh, I have a bit of leftover chicken, and I'll just fix that up. So I have been doing it, doing a little bit better in the last week, but
fantastic.
Been in the last week. So.
Yeah. But that's all it takes. It only takes a couple of days of trying on a new fit of a new normal, and looking at ways in which you can make your life easier. If you've done all those things for the dogs, there is no need for you then to turn around and then create a whole new meal for yourself. Really just cook a little bit extra for yourself, and then that's it. You've done. You've only had made one set of dishes, one more thing of mess. The dogs are happy, you're fed, and everyone is going to sleep a whole lot better. But there's still a lot of positive in that. I think that's great. I think your portion control that you're checking in on, you know what I mean, we all know what we should be doing. Everyone sort of knows. We just need to put it into action and really do it. So all I would love to hear from you, Danielle, over the next 6 months is just looking at ways, once it gets a bit cooler, that you can start to be sort of having a couple of walks, you know, each week or whatever feels comfortable for you. But getting that little bit of exercise in during the week would also pay huge dividends. So eating dinner with the dogs, not just for the dogs, drinking plenty of water, and just giving yourself a little bit more love that you give to the dogs so freely. It's so easy to do, I know.
Thank you.
But good on you. And the fact that you've come here, I'm immensely thrilled about that as well, because it's easy just to say, I won't come, you know, it's easy, but it's hard to show up and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. It's hard, but I'm doing this. So I'm really proud of you for doing that. So good on you, Daniela. I can't wait to see you in August. And yeah, hopefully those dogs are going a bit easier on you by then.
Thank you.
So I have loved seeing you all and hearing all your stories and touching base. It's so wonderful. So thank you all for taking the time tonight. I know it's hard when you've sort of had all the sort of sessions at the start and there's a big gap. It's hard to think, oh, who's Katie again? Like, what are we sort of doing in this show? So thank you so much for coming. I am going to ask you, though, to do another questionnaire for me. I know you guys love the questionnaires and you know I'm going to harass you until you send them back to me. So please, I will end this session with you guys tonight and I'll send it to you tonight. So if you want to do it now, just whilst you're sort of here in this space, I'll send them all out to everyone in the next sort of 10 minutes. But yes, if you could just do those and send them back to me, that would be great. And the next session is in August. You think I would remember the date by now, but I don't. Of course, I'll just be in touch again. It'll be a Tuesday night, early August. And that will be our very final session. So I'm going to expect a big 6 months from you guys. And then, yeah, I'll see you all for our very final session. It's amazing how fast a year actually goes. I think when people start at the start of these programs, I think 12 months, like, God, I've got heaps of time to make some change. But actually, a year goes like that. So any questions? You guys know where I am. You can email, you can message, you can reach out at any time. You don't need to do this completely on your own. I will... yes, I will send this recording. No one here wants this recording, do they? Or do you?
No, I'm right.
No, that's okay. Yeah, no worries at all. Perfect. But yes, thank you very, very much again. And I look forward to seeing you all COVID-free. My goodness, what a joke. I'll see you all in August. All righty. So thank you so much, guys. Have a lovely 6 months.
Thank you. Look after
Bye-bye.
yourself.
I will. Thanks, Simon. You too. See you guys.
See ya.
Bye. Bye, Em. See you, Daniela.